Hi guys, what is going on, and welcome back to another video on Amazon's New World. So I can't believe it's been a month already since the last update, but the guys at Amazon have already got another patch ready for release into the alpha, and with a few interesting updates in it that I really wanted to cover. I'll actually put a link to the patch notes down below, so if you want to go and have a read through in more detail to see sort of all the actual specific changes, then you can go and have a look at that. If not, you can just sort of listen to me summarise them in hopefully a slightly shorter fashion than the sort of multiple pages that the patch notes actually are. So the patch this month really seems to be focused a lot more on PvP, and I kind of get why this is, because I think most people would agree that it was PvP that suffered the most after the changes that the game went through when it transitioned from that survival MMO to the current sort of quote-unquote theme park MMO. And actually, it was the loss of PvP that at the time drove the most players away from New World. And I think realistically, if you love the concept of New World as a survival MMO, then the PvP is probably never going to get back to that same level. It is just a different game now. But the devs are aware that sort of the feeling in that side of the community, and they do seem to be trying to at least improve the PvP offering in New World at the moment to make it a more viable concept. We have also had the addition of the Ice Gauntlet as a new magic weapon in the game, which certainly looks pretty damn awesome, and they actually teased it to us on Twitter in a series of tweets, but we'll actually cover a bit more on that later on in the video. So what have they actually added in terms of the PvP side of the game? We have previously discussed things like the new Outpost Rush mode, but for April they are also bringing in these things called faction control points. This is, I think, in an effort to try and spark more open world PvP, because things like Territory Wars and the Outpost Rush mode, they're kind of either scheduled events or they're instance-based events, whereas faction control points are going to be actually located on the open world in the region's forts and can be captured by, any one of the three factions. To contest them, players are going to actually have to flag for PvP, before heading there, and then have domination over the control point. i.e. they're going to have killed the other faction's players and actually capture that flag. Then by actually capturing and controlling, one of these faction control points, the entire faction in that region, i.e. Windswood is a region, gets a 5% experience boost, 20% influence boost, plus 1 region-specific buff. So, for example, to go back to our Windward example, controlling the faction point there is also going to give you a 5% increase to the amount of items gathered. i.e., if you're out harvesting hemp, you'll be getting 5% more per gathering action. So, how much will this really shake up PvP in the game? I kind of think probably not all that much. I do think it's a nice idea, and I like the fact that you have to toggle PvP on, to partake in this as a system. But the rewards don't seem all that great, and from my understanding of the patch notes, it's like a sort of 24/7 event. It says that forts that have been captured will remain captured until a different faction claims. Well, no one is going to want to wait around on those points defending 24/7 for a 5% XP gain. And it doesn't seem, because these are not scheduled events, and that was kind of the whole point, it seems that someone could just turn up at 2 in the morning and capture it. And that's kind of the end of that. So I don't slightly question how much the system will actually get used, because the buffs that you're gaining from it aren't really that big, and I don't think people are necessarily going to be waiting around defending it sufficiently. But I guess time will tell, and we'll see actually how well it gets implemented in the alpha. But if the choice put up to me, I'd really like to see a sort of a wilderness zone. And yes, I am about to go full RuneScape on you, apologies in advance, but I would like to see an area towards the top of the map where either rare resources are in, or if not sort of locked behind, then larger quantities of these rare resources. And to go into that region, PvP flagging is going to be a requirement. i.e. if you want to be going to get these larger quantities of mining materials or rarer wood or whatever it's going to be, then you have to take the risk to go there. But only at the very sort of top of the map, only the top level players. I don't know, that seemed the most logical way of doing it from my point of view. We are also seeing bigger bonuses introduced for faction and company level territory ownership, which seems like absolutely to be a good thing to me. fighting for and holding land should be rewarding, and it seems we're getting some better bonuses. Seeing a 10% gathering bonus and plus 50 luck if your faction owns the territory you're currently in, and you're getting a 70% fast travel discount, 30% tax relief and 20% cheaper housing if the land is owned by your company. So better get organising those companies. But it is not all PvP changes. We also see the introduction of 2 big new expeditions in the form of Lazarus Instrumentality, and yes, that took me 4 ticks to say, as well as Dynasty Shipyard, which we just nailed first time. It's certainly good that they are pumping out this sort of content. The lack of this sort of mid to end game content was the real letdown I feel of the preview event. So the fact that they are now really continuously pumping this sort of stuff out is a really great thing to see. You know, and we're also seeing a whole new achievement system, which is going to be a way of sort of tracking and rewarding player achievements. We don't unfortunately get told specifically what we're going to have to be completing to unlock these, but I'm guessing it's going to be sort of various crafting, killing tasks and things like that. We also get to see yet more combat revisions and balancers. I'm glad they're sort of continuously working to try and tweak this sort of stuff. I think the combat is one of the most, or if not actually the most important aspect of the game. And while it's certainly improved from where it was, it's something that I think is going to need continuous tweaking and balancing, particularly around, you know, how the AI behaves and interacts with the player. They've also introduced set attribute bonuses. So, for example, if you have plus 50 strength, this now is also going to convey a fixed plus 15% damage to melee light attacks, plus a fixed 10% increase to mining speed. Then there are new ones every 50 attribute points, so you're going to get another set bonus at 100, 150, 200, all the way up to 300. So in effect, you're going to want to be trying to make sure that you're always round your attribute distribution to the nearest 50 points. But along with these much bigger changes, we are also getting a whole host of smaller balance and quality of life changes. Things such as player-to-player trading, so you no longer have to go and hide behind buildings to drop items for your friends. You can now do it in a secure manner. Certainly a change that I'm more than welcome. Along with a number of other UI improvements, and of course the earlier mentioned Ice Gauntlet. We obviously already have the Fire Staff and the Healing Staff, so it only kind of seems right and makes sense, I suppose, that they decided to also give us an Ice Gauntlet. Pretty excited for it, can't wait to check it out. It certainly looks pretty awesome from the little bit of footage we've got of it so far. But either way, that is all I've got time for today. Hopefully you have enjoyed the video. If you have, do let me know what you think in the comments down below. And of course, subscribe to the channel because we're going to be having lots more New World news and content as we go forwards. Thanks for watching, guys, and I shall see you all on the next video.